All right, so those were the more easier ones. Now we're getting to the little harder ones. Same idea behind them. We want to multiply by the common denominator so that we can cancel out our fractions. What we have to recognize here is that the bottom of this fraction here, the second one, we can factor the 3 out of there and rewrite it. 3y minus 9 is the same thing as having 3, if I put the 3 in front, times y minus 3, because 9 divided by 3 is 3, right? So when we multiply by our common denominator, it's going to be this. 3 times y minus 3, so we can cancel that out, and here we're just going to cancel the y minus 3 part of it out. So multiplying, I'm going to take this times 3 and y minus 3. I'm going to take this times 3 and y minus 3. And I'm going to take that times 3 and y minus 3. So on that first fraction, I can only cancel out the y minus 3 part of it, right? So just the y minus 3 cancels out on my first fraction. So I'm going to take 3 times minus 7, which is negative 21. On the other part, we have to recognize again that this and this are the same thing, just factored out. So I'm going to be able to cancel that whole thing out, and I'm just going to get the minus 8 that's on top of that fraction. Now in that second part, before I do my distributive property, I'm going to take the 4 times the 3, right? We got 4 times 3 there, so we're going to take minus 12 times our y minus 3. So negative 12 times y would be negative 12y. Negative 12 times a negative 3 is a positive 36. So we multiplied those two things together first, and then we did our distributive property. Now I got this crazy mess I want to solve for y. Because
okay,
there's...
Where did you get 36?
I took negative 12 times negative 3. Right?
Oh,
the 4
okay.
times the
Oh,
3
see,
gave me negative 12, but then I've got to take it times that negative 3.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay.
So negative 12, okay, times 3, okay, 36.
Since I've got 3 terms on this side, I'm going to go ahead and combine those two. So negative 21 is going to equal negative 12y. And then we have 36 minus 8, which would be a positive 28, right? So solving that, we got to move the 28 to the other side, so we're going to minus our 28. We get negative 49 equals negative 12y. And then, of course, we got to divide. Divide by our negative 12. We got a negative over a negative, so we get 49 twelfths for our answer for y. And 49, 7 times 7, I don't think I can reduce that. So just positive 49 twelfths. Okay, so now if we look at number 17, it's going to be the same kind of thing when we think about our denominator. That one with the number in front, we're going to be able to factor it. If I have 3u plus 15, I can rewrite it by taking the 3 out. 3 times, and if I take the 3 out of both of those, what do I get?
5.
U plus 5. Yep, U plus 5. And notice that'll match up with our other one because that's what we're going to cancel. So we're going to multiply everything by 3u plus 5, or 3 times u plus 5. So, on my first fraction, what's going to happen?
We are going to redo the 5 times 3 is 50, oh, 3u, no? No, next thing.
So-
I messed myself up.
What we have to recognize is that this and this are the same thing. So we can cancel out the whole thing, right? The 3 times u plus 5 is the same thing as 3u plus 15. It's just in factored form. So on that first one there, the whole thing's going to cancel. We're just going to get the 5 that's on top. On the next part, we're first of all going to do the 2 times the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we're going to use our distributive property times the parentheses. So if we use our distributive property, we would get 6u plus 30 equals. Now on the other side, what's going to happen?
We are going to cancel out the u plus 5.
Just the u plus 5 is going to cancel, so we're going to have negative 7 times 3, which is negative 21 then. So again, we can shorten this up a little bit because we can combine those two terms. So 6u plus 35 is going to equal our negative 21. Now we want to solve that for u. So if I'm going to solve that for u, I'm going to...
You are going to take your 35. Yeah.
and minus it. So 6u is going to equal negative 56. And then I'm going to divide by 6. Now this one we can reduce, right? They're both even numbers. So I know I can reduce my fraction down.
So it's going to be u equals 9.
Now does 6 go into 56 evenly?
9. Isn't it?
If I take 56 divided by 6, I get 9.33333333.
Okay.
So I can't divide it by 6, but I can reduce it because both of these are divisible by 2, right? So 56 divided by 2 is 28. And 6 divided by 2 is 3, right?
Yeah.
So negative 28 thirds is going to be my answer in simplified form, reducing my fraction. All right, number 18, same kind of thing. First thing we're going to do is rewrite that bigger denominator. If I have 4v minus 24, how can I rewrite that?
So would that be v minus 6?
So 4 times v minus 6, exactly. 4 times v minus 6. So we're going to multiply everything times 4 times v minus 6, times 4 times v minus 6, and times 4 times v minus 6. Then what's going to happen?
Okay, the first one, we are going to cancel the whole bottom out.
Cancel the whole bottom out, just get an 8, exactly.
Minus, oh, I didn't put that one there. 4v minus 6. So that's going to be minus.
First thing we're going to do is multiply those front numbers, right?
Yeah. So
Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4, and then I'm going to use my distributive property. So negative 4 times the v minus 6 would give me
These 4v.
negative 4v
Minus 24.
negative times the negative is going to give me a
Oh, positive 24.
positive 24.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to watch what that sign is in front because that'll make a difference. And then on the other side, what's going to happen?
We are just going to cancel out the v6.
v minus 6, and so we're going to get
8.
8. So combining our like terms over here, we're going to have negative 4v. 8 plus 24 is 32. So negative 4v plus 32 equals 8. So, if I'm going to solve that, what am I going to do?
I'm gonna move to 32.
I'm going to subtract my 32. So negative 4v is going to equal negative 24, right?
Then you divide.
Then I'm going to divide by my negative 4, and I'm going to get v equals 6. Now, here's the tricky part on this one and why I put this one on here. Notice underneath here this whole time it said, if there is no solution, click on no solution. If this number comes out to a nice whole number, you have to check to see if I plug it in if I get 0 on the bottom of a fraction. Because 0 on the bottom of a fraction is undefined. And so, if I put my 6 in here, I'm going to have 6 minus 6, which is 0. And so, I can't have that answer. Because division by 0 is undefined. Any other whole number would have been okay. 6 is the only one on this problem I can't have.
Now how am I gonna know that?
So, what you're going to do is, if this is a whole number, you have to look back up here to make sure it doesn't equal 0. Now up here, I couldn't have had a negative 5. I'm going to erase that for a minute. So had I got a whole number, I would have looked to see. If it was negative 5, I would have got 0, and I would have said, oh, I can't have negative 5. I can have any number in the world other than that negative 5. So with those fraction ones, if I get that nice whole number answer, I always have to go back and check and make sure I don't get a 0 on the bottom. If I get a 0 on the bottom, it's not going to check, and they're going to say, oops, it's no solution, I can't have that answer.